A kind request, kindly keep your mobile switched off. Yeah. Distinguished guests, honored delegates, ladies and gentlemen, our esteemed and dearest friends from Australia, good afternoon and welcome to the Australia Country session at the Invest Kerala Global Summit 2025 here in the vibrant city of Kochi. It's an absolute honor to be a part of this esteemed gathering where thought leaders, investors, and innovators from across the globe come together to explore and unlock new opportunities for collaboration, investment, and sustainable growth. We've had an amazing inauguration in which everyone's come in together and focused themselves on making Kerala the gateway to India's development. We have already highlighted Kerala's potential as an attractive destination for global investment. The event gathers here business leaders, policymakers, and entrepreneurs from across the world to discuss and explore opportunities in key sectors, including trade, investment, innovation, infrastructure, and sustainable development. I'd like to take a moment to introduce the Australia's Consul General, Ms. Silai Zaki, ma'am, who oversees strengthening of bilateral relations, trade, and investment ties between Australia and India in the states of Kerala, Tamil Nadu, and Andhra Pradesh, as well as the Union Territories of Lakshadweep, Andamans, and Puducherry. She's been in the Foreign Office for quite some time, has been in Spain, worked with the Foreign Minister in Australia, and has settled down in Chennai with her good husband. As we move forward, it's a pleasure to be here with all of you today to delve into the theme that is not only timely but also of great importance to the future of both Australia and India. Innovation propels Australia-India trade and investments. I think that's the theme across the world today. Innovation is a big thing, and the recent visit of our Prime Minister also talked highly about AI. And the relationship is founded on mutual respect, shared values, and an unwavering commitment to fostering innovation-driven growth. In 2025, the summit's focus on the themes indicates that it will explore the role of innovation in fostering deeper trade and investment ties between Australia and India, with Kerala acting as the gateway for collaboration. Kerala exports a range of products to Australia, which includes spices, textiles, chemicals, and jewelry, while Australia exports not only to Kerala, to India also, minerals, agricultural products, and advanced technology to India. These trade relations contribute significantly to structural development and investment between the two nations. Australia has been always a dream destination for the youth of Kerala. I don't know how many students go to Australia every year, and many of them are very eager to know much about Australia and still go across. The Kerala-Australia focus. Kerala government has been focusing on promoting renewable energy, and Australian companies are investing in projects relating to solar power. I was talking to somebody and they were telling us about how they saw the solar power at the Cochin airport. And other sustainable technologies. Kerala is recognized as a hub for medical tourism, with Australian visitors traveling to Kerala for affordable, high-quality healthcare services, especially in the areas of Ayurveda and dental care. And we have some amazing doctors who do wonderful surgeries, and robotic surgeries coming into play in a big way soon. The Kerala government has trade partnership with Australian cities like Melbourne and Sydney to explore business opportunities. Beyond business transactions, the connection between Kerala and Australia is strengthened through cultural exchanges, the diaspora, and people-to-people interactions. The growing Keralite community in Australia plays a pivotal role in forging and strengthening the bond between the two regions. It is through these personal connections that both countries are able to build trust, share knowledge, and open doors for future collaborations. Kerala's strength is that we are now the number one state in ease of doing business and latest in the ranking of the Government of India. Our literacy rate is almost 95% plus. And somebody did mention that our internet connectivity is almost 100%. Kerala has a robust connectivity and logistics located on the transnational trade corridor connecting Europe and the Pacific Rim, with the highest number of airports with global connectivity in the country. India's first deep-water transshipment terminal, the Vizhinjam International Seaport Limited, is also in Kerala. Also having 4 international airports, 2 major and minor immediate sea airports. Our infrastructure and roads minister did mention that he is going to invest something like 5 lakh crore rupees into roads into Kerala. We have a very vibrant education and skilling, where education meets innovation, empowering a dynamic future. 80% of Kerala's power comes from renewable sources. Kerala has a future-ready skilled workforce with strong strength in healthcare, large diaspora spread across 138 countries. I don't see a hospital where you don't find a Kerala nurse. Kerala's rural-urban continuum, we are going to be a single city in the next 5 or 10 years. There is not a single place you would find vacant between, let's say, Trivandrum to Kasaragod. And as a model of integrated development, Kerala's youth ranks 3rd in employment skill readiness across India. Kerala ranks 3rd for the maximum number of skillful graduates in India. Our industrial policy has 7 focus pillars: entrepreneurship, infrastructure, high-tech transition, skill development, business environment, brand equity, and sectoral industrialization, and 22 priority sectors. This includes aerospace, robotics, Ayurveda, biotech, food tech, and more recently, the government has also come out with an export policy, logistics parks, ESG policy, and a very attracting investment. Government itself is willing to give land free for industry. Kerala has a vibrant startup ecosystem and enterprising MSME sector. I would invite the delegation to actually visit our startup setup in Cochin. Kerala has also launched a Mission 1000 to scale up 1,000 enterprises to rupees 100 crore businesses within 3 years. Kerala has also come out with the Kerala brand. Our Kerala brand is known across the world for its integrity and trust. Anything from Kerala, be it the human being or the product, are always very trusted. Make in Kerala initiative has been launched to promote domestic production, reduce imports and create job opportunities, and a step towards building a self-reliant and sustainable economy in Kerala. Together, our nations have the potential to unlock new opportunities, not just for business, but for communities and industries across the globe. Let's explore how innovative solutions and strategic investments are shaping the future of our relationships. And as we discuss the emerging trends, partnerships, and opportunities that lie ahead, I encourage you to think about the transformative role that innovation will play in shaping industries and in building lasting, fruitful connections between nations. We are at exciting crossroads, and the possibilities for collaborations are limitless. Let's embark on this journey together to further strengthen the ties between Australia and India. Thank you very much, and I look forward to a very productive and insightful session.
Good afternoon and namaskaram. Devutinde swandam natil vanadil valare sandosham. I would like to acknowledge the distinguished guests who are present here for this event. It's a great pleasure to be a country partner at Invest Kerala. I congratulate the Government of Kerala and the Invest Kerala team for organising a fantastic event and bringing us together. Today I'd like to begin our country session by setting the scene with developments in the Australia-India Comprehensive Strategic Partnership. The world we live in today is our most complex strategic circumstances in 2 generations. There is sharpening strategic competition. Climate change is intensifying. The multilateral order is under pressure. There are active conflicts across the globe, and sovereignty is under threat from issues such as coercion and opaque lending practices as examples. In all of this, India has greater salience than at any other time in our history. Australia knows this, and that is why we have seen a significant push by both our countries to upgrade our relationship. This year marks the 5th anniversary of our Comprehensive Strategic Partnership. Australia is one of only 2 countries, the other being Japan, with which India has an annual leaders' meeting a 2+2 Foreign and Defence Ministers meeting, and a trade agreement. We are members of the Quad, and we are both deeply committed to a secure and prosperous Indo-Pacific. Our relationship has shifted significantly to the kind of partnership that we have with our closest friends. There are 3 factors that have propelled this change. We sum them up in 3 words: necessity, opportunity, and affinity. What does this mean? If Australia and India want to preserve an open, stable, and prosperous Indo-Pacific, we need each other. India is an indispensable partner, critical for achieving the sort of strategic equilibrium we need. There is enormous opportunity that our natural, commercial, entrepreneurial, and demographic strengths offer each other's economies, what we refer to as economic complementarity. Over the past 5 years, India's exports to the world have gone up 35%, but over the same period, India's exports to Australia have increased by 66%. The third driver that is bringing us closer together is our increasing affinity, or the human bridge that spans deep reservoirs of goodwill between our people. We're lucky today to be joined by many Australian business leaders and senior government representatives to explore opportunities for greater collaboration between Australia and Kerala. I want to acknowledge and thank them for being part of Team Australia at Invest Kerala. Thank you especially to the ones that have travelled from Australia. We want to begin our country session today with a panel discussion with senior representatives from Australian businesses that are using Australian innovation to propel our trade and investment relationship to new heights. It is now my great pleasure to welcome the panellists. I'll begin with Manoj Paul. He's the General Manager of Heat and Control South Asia. Heat and Control is one of the world's leading manufacturers of food processing and packaging equipment. They design, engineer, and build machinery that creates packages, prepared meats, poultry, and seafood for items like French fries, baked and fried snacks, and other quality foods. Their equipment operates around the clock, around the world, giving its customers the advantages they need to succeed in today's competitive markets. Manoj, could you please join me on stage? Please welcome him. Second is Reece Molt, Head of Strategy and Corporate Relations at Matter City. Matter helps councils and municipalities and utility providers to manage stormwater and waste streams with its innovative sensors and platforms. They use AI for predictive analysis and AR for real-time in-field monitoring. Matter becomes the full-service stormwater asset platform that can integrate into business workflows and automate management. Please join us, Reece. And then we have Sahil Sharma. He's the India head for SunPower Renewables. SunPower Renewables is an Australian renewable energy solutions company that has developed modern, efficient, and smart solar energy products that allow customers to achieve energy independence while being cost-effective, long-lasting, and environmentally friendly. Their Australian-made products with cutting-edge technology are designed for industrial, commercial, residential, and off-grid applications. Through their products, they want to empower every customer to generate, store, and use solar energy anytime, anywhere. Please join us, Sahil. I will start with Manoj. So Heat and Control South Asia is one of the first companies I went to when I came to India. And I was so impressed by the machinery that they were making in Chennai. But what was more impressive was the fact that this machinery was catering to so many companies in India. I want Manoj to start off by telling us a little bit about Heat and Control and your story.
Hello, good afternoon everybody. Thank you Silai for giving us this opportunity. I represent a company called Heat and Control. We are headquartered in Brisbane, Australia. We make food processing and packaging machinery. So in 1997, we came to India, and we were mainly supplying equipment for Western snacks like potato chips or nachos, peanuts, etc., and fish and seafood processing equipment. But in the market, the demand for Indian namkeen, or what we call as Indian snacks, was much higher than the market for Western snacks. So companies like Haldiram's and Bikaner Wala, they approached us and they said, I can buy one machine or two machines to make potato chips, but we want many machines to do namkeen. And we said, we don't know what namkeen is. But they said, come and see how we do it manually. They had hundreds of woks and people were standing and making it. And he said, it's not very hygienic. We would like to automate it. So some of our engineers from Australia came to India and studied the process of preparing these namkeen products. And we told them that pick up one product, which is your largest product, and we will automate that first. So they said moong dal. And many of you must have eaten fried moong dal. Is very popular in the north, western areas and eastern India, not very popular in Kerala. So we identified that and we made a machine for it. So we made a machine that can do about 3 tons of moong dal an hour, completely automated without any intervention, human intervention. So then they said, if you can make that machine, why don't you make a machine for other products? So then we started off making machines for bhujia, bundi. So then the market became very large for us. Today we have at least about 100 machines that are operating, making all the Indian snack food apart from the Western snacks. And in Kochi, I'm very happy to tell you that we have 2 installations doing banana chips, completely untouched by hand. One of the customers are called Beyond Snacks. I don't know, you must have seen it on the internet. They are very popular on the internet, on Amazon and Blinkit and all that. So we have another customer called Tierra Foods. Both of them make banana chips, and cassava chips is another product that's got a lot of scope in Kerala. Most of it is made by hand and people are not very comfortable with that. But here is a completely hygienic process where there's no human intervention, and we are installing the 3rd line now in Kerala. Another product in Kerala is cashew nuts. We have about 2 lines which are making value-added products. Unfortunately, most of the manufacturers of cashew try to export raw cashew overseas. That was our original process. So we had some interaction with the cashew board, and cashew board said that they will give a subsidy if somebody installs a value-added machine. But still, I think there is a lot of potential to make value-added products. Companies like Planters buy cashew from India and other countries and then add value and sell them back to us. Same is the seafood industry. We have done a first project for seafood, but I feel there is a huge opportunity for making value-added products rather than just frozen IQF products, which, there is a market, but it is very competitive. It is like a commodity, and the price is based on what happens in the international market. But once you make value-added products like breaded or crumbed, fish or meat, then the value is different. It's a brand. So the prices are much higher and the revenue for the company is much more. I don't know, many of you are aware of a company called ID Foods. It's called Idli Dosa, I think must be the name of the company. So several years back they approached us and said they make Idli Dosa batter and they wanted us to make a machine for them. We said, sorry, we do not know what is Idli Dosa batter. But Mr. Nasser, who was one of the promoters of the company, would not stop. He kept on chasing me and said, give me a solution. Finally, we worked out a line for them in Anekal in Bangalore, which makes 4 tons of Idli Dosa batter an hour. So imagine how much, and it runs 24/7. So I think many products here, we have a customer here called Dev Snacks who are exhibiting in this show. They also want to make many products. So we have now a solution called a namkeen line, which can do 15 varieties of namkeen on a single line. and the maximum capacity is about 3 tons. So here what I'm saying is an Australian company which came with Australian technology now is using the technology due to innovation to make Indian products. We have a customer in Pune to make a product called Bakarwadi, which is very famous in Pune, and we have made them a solution. So like that, very, very interesting solutions are there. So we always call it engineered in Australia, manufactured in India. So we have our first plant, Silai visited our first plant, and first week of this month, Silai did the groundbreaking for our second plant, which is the first plant employs about 700 people, and the second one will employ about another 300 people. So I think there's a lot of opportunity in the food space. Kerala is very strong, but the problem is we are exporting basic products. We are not looking at value-added products. Value-added products is where the profits are not in the basic products. Basic products are always a commodity, and commodity prices go up and down due to the world market situation. For example, now coffee, look at coffee. All other countries are making coffee. Cashew also now. African countries are making more cashew. So we are actually now importing cashew rather than exporting cashew. So it's a very complicated situation. But if one can establish a brand like Haldiram's or Bikanerwala or Balaji wafers, then you can export the product yourself. You do not make products for other companies. So the profit and the margins can be much higher. It's a simple story of a very basic product like food products, and there is a lot of opportunity in Kerala, I think. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Manoj. We'll stay with you for a moment because I want to talk about economic complementarity and the fact that your business in India has seen growth, but how has this helped the Australian company grow back home?
Heat and Control is a global company, and we bid for projects in Europe. So earlier we were manufacturing and engineering the equipment in Australia. The initial lines came from Australia. But we were not competitive because Australia, the labor cost is very high, etc. But now we are manufacturing in India and doing R&D and engineering in Australia. Together, it's a very good combination. We are able to beat all our competitors in Europe, and we are able to secure most of the projects. So in fact, when we set up the factory in India, everybody said the Australia factory will close down. Now, the Australian factory has not closed down, but it's grown. Now we had about 150 people there. Now we are currently employing more than 300 people, and they don't have any space, so they can't employ any further. So that's why we are putting a new factory in India. So this is what supports a global business. The local, we must utilize what is competitive in India. Manufacturing is very competitive, whereas engineering, Brisbane has huge strength in engineering. And together, it's a combination that can beat all other players in the global market. Thank you.
Thank you, Manoj. We're going to move to Reese. Now, Reese, you have some innovative solutions for managing stormwater and waste streams. Tell us more about your company, Matter City, and how your work matters.
Thanks, Alai. Actually, after Manoj, I'm really hungry. Look, it's a very, very big pleasure to be here, and namaskaram. Matter is an amazing business that I've had the pleasure of working with for a couple of years, and my colleague and the managing director, Len, is here, and as my other colleague, Ashish. And we find it a great pleasure to be in Kerala, where actually this time last year I was here, and it was interesting. Mr. Deepak spoke about the opportunity to work with Kerala businesses, and I came out and actually visited the Kerala Startup Mission and did a tour in there, and I could see that we could get a lot out of working with those. So the Matter product is something that Len's been working on and putting a lot of his effort into. So very different to Mr. Manoj. We're a startup ourselves. We're ready to scale. We're here to look for some municipalities to work with. We're currently looking to work with the Chennai municipality and Hyderabad. We've been doing some work with Larsen & Toubro L&T to trial these sensors, which actually go into stormwater pits to understand the waste that's built up within the stormwater pit, so debris, and when there's flooding for early warning for flood alerts. So I think in this part of India, flooding is something that you have been unfortunate, like many other parts of the world, to have witnessed, and you know, we've just had some terrible floods in Queensland, and we see these devices as an opportunity to get early warnings out and because of the price of these, which is quite low, not free. Len's told me to tell you that it's not free, but but it is definitely one of the most price sensitive devices that we've been able to come up with. So that means that we can put them out in scale and get very granular data and be able to provide information at an early time to provide alerts to avoid flooding in those locations. When it comes to municipalities in Australia, we've been very lucky to be working for some years now directly with a couple of councils in Victoria in particular, with the City of Melbourne and the City of Monash, who've done a lot of work to help us to design the features around this piece of technology. And it allows them to have a massive return on investment from putting these devices across their networks and be able to reduce the amount of cost that goes into cleaning those, the stormwater pits. One of the problems that you see is if you don't clean the stormwater pits in a timely manner, and then there's a rainfall event, that's when you get very localised flooding events. And so we're seeing a massive return on investment in councils in Australia and a massive reduction in the problems with sending people to go and open pits when they don't need to be opened. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of requirements and a lot of cost that goes into that. And I'll quickly talk about the waste side of the business as well. So very similar device that we use in rubbish bins, from a small 120 litre bin right up to 1100 litre bins and larger. And we're using AI and some computer vision to actually understand what's going into those bins, but again, get the councils to collect their waste in a timely manner, which means that the rubbish isn't going into the community when the bins are overfilled, and it means that they're also not sending trucks to go a very long distance to collect air, and collecting air in Australia is a very expensive thing to do. So I'm not sure if I've answered your question.
I was going to ask you about AI, but you've already touched on it. So I might bring Sahil into this conversation and then we might go to the floor to open up some questions. But I definitely know from my 1 year here, especially in Chennai, when it rains, the stormwater drains actually fill up and you can really lose a lot of productivity with that kind of localised flooding in cities that prevent people from, going to work or getting about their daily business.
Yeah, 100%. Well, we've done a little bit of work in, and Len and I have spent quite a bit of time over in Malaysia. When I was in Kuala Lumpur, it was actually an Indian woman who was in Kuala Lumpur, and the ground opened up, and so walking down the street, the pit had been inundated, and she disappeared, never to be found. And that's because councils don't have the very detailed knowledge of what's going on underground. So there's a massive opportunity there.
Fantastic. So Sahil is the India head for SunPower Renewables, and it's not very well known, but Australian researchers actually invented solar cell technologies in solar panels that are now manufactured and sent around the world. We also have the highest per capita uptake of solar technology in Australia. So we've been working with solar technology for quite a while. I wanted to ask Sahil, tell us about your company and what kind of products you're offering the Indian market.
So, first of all, good afternoon, everyone. Am I audible? Hello? So, we are the global leader and storage solution and headquartered in Melbourne, Australia, right? So, focused on R&D, which gives us innovation and having innovative products, which is solar generators, handheld, and having a wide range of solar generators, which is handheld to industrial-based solar generators. And our mission, what we are focusing right now, is to reducing the cost of electricity by giving this solar generators, right?
And do you foresee that in the Indian market in the future there will be an opportunity for families and households to store solar energy and use it at peak times, thereby reducing their costs?
So, energy consumption will go up and up. It will not go down. So here we come, where we give our innovative product, solar generator comes, which helps you not just to generate the power. It helps you to helps you to store the power also. As and when where you will be required, you can use it. So this is what our product is about.
Excellent. I was at a presentation recently by India's chief economic advisor, and he asked companies in India to invest in research and development. He said, don't look at that as a cost to your business. Look at it as an investment into your business. So you mentioned research and development. How much of a role does that play in giving you the competitive advantage?
So our R&D based in Melbourne pushes us to innovate more and the best of our products. So if we talk about our product, so we have the wide range of product which starts from household, which is handheld portable generators, and goes up to for the industries, factories, which can be like megawatts. So that R&D helps us to come on those product lines and helping the industries and different setups. Yeah.
Thank you. What about you, Reese? What is innovation and R&D? What kind of role has that played in growing your business?
Well, it's interesting. I think Len would be the first person to say that it's called hardware for a reason. There's a lot of effort and a lot of hard work that goes into developing this technology, and innovation is at the core of everything that Matter does. We've just recently hired a new CTO who is bringing a new level of AI, again, understanding into the business. We're constantly innovating, constantly changing, constantly learning from our customers who, you know, are really the ones that are guiding us in the direction where we're taking it. And I'd say it's definitely the most important part to it. Look, we started out, so Matter has come from a place where Len's business was providing essentially street furniture, and so buses, bus stops I should say, and rubbish bins. And when working with the rubbish bins, we've seen, well, we need some data, some very clear data on the collection of waste in those places. And we started to develop and play with some technology around that. And that then led us to the councils that we were working with to say, hey, this technology, this is it has a radar within it. This technology could be used in our stormwater systems and help us to save money there. So the customers are coming to us and telling us that this is what they need. And that's now led us to a place where the CSIRO, which is Australia's national research organisation, are rolling out our devices in stormwater pits across Australia, because they see that they had actually been trying to develop this themselves, but could see that we'd done what they hadn't been able to do, and are now delivering that across Australia. So yeah, it's number one is innovation.
Fantastic. And Manoj, you touched on the engineers in Brisbane. When you have an Indian client come to you and ask for a solution, at which point do you escalate that to the Australia office? Or do you look at finding a solution here in your Chennai office?
Always customers are coming to us with new food products. Just to give you an example, we've been working with the Tirupati temple to make the laddu that they give us a prasad. So the customer sometimes says, I want to do a trial of the product. So we call them to our factory. We have a technical center where the engineers from India and Australia work together and try to make a small scale prototype solution. Initially, we make a prototype solution, and once the prototype solution works, then we make a full-fledged equipment. So the Australian engineers have huge experience because it's a 35-year-old company in Australia, and they have a lot of experience in how to adapt the technology for different products. So I don't know if, God willing, in a couple of years, we can all have Tirupati Laddu made on Australian machine. There was a news article in the newspaper also that Australian technology is going to make hygienic laddus from Tirupati temple. So it's a collaboration between the local engineering team and the R&D team in Brisbane, which arrives at solutions for various products. So every time it's a very routine thing that customer come with new products, and then we find them a solution, and they are more successful. Because today, manufacturing, food processing products, many people are not very keen to work in that area. It's very hot in front of a wok to make, whatever we make, like banana chips in front of a wok. You don't get people to do that kind of work. So automation is very important so that, it's like a factory, and then the companies are very successful. Thank you.
Thank you. I'd like to now open questions to the floor. I think some of you have been listening for a little while. If there is someone who has a question to our panellists or myself, please just raise your hand and we can get you one of these microphones. We can give her this one. Janaki. Sorry, I probably should have checked before. Yeah, we'll give you this one. There's a couple of people just in that row, that gentleman there.
Good afternoon, madam and sir. Sir, I am Selva Sundararajan from Madurai, Tamil Nadu. I am not the Kerala person. Sir, I am having two doubts. First one is, I am a skill development trainer and consultant. Entrepreneurship skill development trainer and consultant in all over India. Government registered TOT trainer. Is there any opportunity to work with Australian government or Australia in the skill development sector, training sector?
Yes, these are challenges that we're looking at very actively. So actually later today we will have an MOU signing between a New South Wales company and Kerala, looking at taking in skilled nurses to Australia to fill a gap there. So Australia each year publishes a list of skilled professions that we have a deficit in, and anyone can apply to go to Australia on one of those visa schemes if you fulfill the requirements. But in terms of skills and training, we're also looking at doing different programs that help really take advantage of that demographic dividend that India has. One of the programs that Sanjeeva, who's sitting right in front of you, has kind of come up with is under the umbrella of our renewable energy partnership that our Prime Minister signed in November. And Sanjeeva is helping to set up a pilot program in Gujarat to train 2,000 women and I believe university students in solar technologies, so installation, repairs, that kind of thing. And we're hoping to do more in that renewable energy space. Would you like to add anything, Sanjeeva?
I can go into details. There is a panel on
Oh
green
yeah,
economy
please tell them, yeah.
There's a panel later today, but yeah, I can talk about the work that we've been doing under the Renewable Energy Partnership in setting up these solar training academies, but also in building skills and course stacks that align with Australian qualifications, so that becomes a pool of workers who can have mobility options in future.
Exactly. So, Sanjeeva, what time's your session?
4:45.
Okay, 4:45. If you're interested in that, please go to Sanjeeva's session, because I think it would be worthwhile. But more broadly, it depends on the sector and which sector and skills you're looking at. There are quite a few people in our ecosystem, including universities, Australian universities, setting up partnerships to look at skills gaps.
So how can I apply for that partnership?
So I would say our Trade and Investment Commission office, so Austrade, looks at rolling out a lot of those programs. So if you're in Madurai, we can put you on the list for the next event that is in Chennai, and then they can share that information with you.
Sure, thank you.
Thank you. Did anyone else have a question?
Thank you, Janaki. Good afternoon. My question is also related to the skills itself, because most of you are entrepreneurs, you have organizations, especially into manufacturing in Australia as well as in India. So how do you evaluate the skill set of the Indian workforce as well as the Australian workforce based on the skill set? Because now AI is taking over, but it cannot take over the manual skill set. So how do you evaluate it?
So, Manoj, I'll let you start the answer.
We hire a lot of people with skill sets like welders and fitters and people like that. And one of the difficulty we find is that they get a certificate saying he's a welder, but he hardly has used a welding machine in his life. So what happens is that we have to hire them, and then we have to put them through an intensive training program. So one of the things that we have been doing is that through our CSR funds, we've been doing training for welders and fitters through another training organization. And if there are opportunities in our company, we hire them, or then they go out to other companies and join. Because there is a lot of demand for skilled technicians, welders, fitters, electricians. But unfortunately, our education system is not very practical. It is very theoretical. We went to one ITI in Tamil Nadu. I don't want to name the ITI. They didn't have a welding machine, but they were doing an ITI program in welding. Now, what's the use of telling you to swim standing outside the pool, but you should get into the pool? So the facilities are limited, especially with the government ITIs and government training organizations. And that is where we step in, and we take them from those institutes and give them intensive training under our CSR scheme. And once they are skilled enough, we hire them or they get jobs by themselves. Absolutely. The organization that we work with, their certification is valid anywhere. They're quite a leading organization called AIWTT. It is an organization that is into welding technology, and their certificates are valid. I think many of them are working in the Middle East and Southeast Asian countries after a few years of working with us.
So you give the experience certificate also?
Yeah, absolutely. If they are looking for a job outside, we give them a certificate. Thank you.
Similar in other fields like others who are into R&D as well. We would like to know.
I could probably answer, not necessarily from the tech point of view, but I also do work with some other businesses in Australia in the agricultural space, and there's a big demand for skilled agricultural workers. Very hard to get the employees to work, even in close regional areas in Australia. I work with a business that has organic food, and a high proportion of their itinerant workers are actually from India, and they highly value them. So, and it's not necessarily a certificated program, but the skills are very transferable across there, and it's not necessarily seen as a skilled thing, but actually when they're interviewing their staff, they know whether or not they've actually got the skills that they need in there. From a tech perspective, we actually are trying to work with the business that we're talking to that's based in Kerala. They actually have the skills that we need and are very transferable in terms of networking and IT skills and installation capabilities. So I think, yeah, definitely they're very transferable and very desirable.
Good afternoon.
Please.
Good afternoon. My name is Surendran. Climate change intensify, that we got from the AS. So as a contribution, I was running one carbon neutral home. It's in initial stage. It's integrated with a green building and a hydroponic setup for food and agrivoltaic solar panel for power and water harvesting from that. These are all income generated, can be bankable within 7 years and all these things. I'm doing one pilot project. As once it is done, succeed, I can go ahead for a lot of projects throughout India. So what type of aids or help I can expect from your solar sites? That's the things.
So you're doing the pilot project, right? Yes. Okay. So our company provides the products which can store the energy and the power, right? So which reduce the reliance on solar diesel generator and the grid, right? As the power demand for the power will go up and up. So our point, you would be doing pilot project. So our product will come in between where you can store the energy and you can use the power as and when it will be required, right? Anything else you want to add?
For that air conditioning load, we are doing some brine storage. And the night time we use the brine for this purpose, not battery system. We are using battery system also. We minimize the battery system.
Okay.
For this. Like that it is.
Okay.
Hi. Hi, I am Shiva. I am part of a company called Solil, so I'm the founder. So we are part of the Australia-India RISE Accelerator, the first cohort, and we are able to commercialize our solution in Australia. We are now generating revenue from there with support of CSIRO Australia. I thank the ecosystem for that. So my question is, we are actually an AI platform for solar and storage asset management. Now we are looking at registering a subsidiary in Australia. So I know that multiple states have their own programs and incentives. So is there any specific channel which we can take? Is there any support which you provide in that?
I think if you have Austrade contacts, they would be the best people to go to first because they will be able to give you some advice, but also speak to Sanjeeva because he's looking at different partners under this renewable energy partnership. But after this session, there'll be some Australians here. Austrade generally helps Indian businesses that are looking to open up, whether it's through investment or subsidiary in Australia. There is also, we have business councils, so various business councils that are working through between the two countries. I don't think he's here, but we did have the Australia-India Business Council representative here as well. So at the end, come and speak to one of us and we can point you in the right direction.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, good afternoon. I'm Suresh. I've been in the energy sector for about 20 plus years. Now I run a independent consultancy in the renewable green hydrogen, and I'm also a green energy transition ambassador. Right, my question is to Sahil. You were talking about battery energy storage systems and solar. My questions, there are two. One is, do you provide any hybrid system at the moment? Number two, what kind of battery storage? Is it grid scale or the small scale battery energy storage you are providing at the moment? Can you elaborate on this?
First question is, you're asking it's hybrid or not, right?
Do you have any
Yes,
hybrid
yes,
technology?
we have hybrid systems, right? So if you're talking about the capacity for the household or this industrial setup, so we have this 1 kilowatt to 15 kilowatt what we are using as of now, which are three-phase units, right? And second question, can you repeat once?
Yeah, the first one was, do you have hybrid? Second one, what scale of, you answered both, I guess. But what I wanted to know is, do you have some kind of references already running in India with this kind of hybrid system, or you are still in the development stage?
So we have the references. We powered one school in Rajasthan, which where we have given energy and powered 17 educational institutes, where these children are using computers on those electricity which is on the government school side, right? So this is one of the example, and we have powered one community in West Bengal also. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome.
Good afternoon. I am Prasad from Chamber of Commerce in Kasaragod district. My question is to Mr. Manoj. As someone who does business in both Australia and India, how would you compare the government support or the government ecosystem to business?
Definitely, I'm not very familiar with the Australian system because I work in the Indian subsidiary. Maybe Silai will be able to throw some light on the Australian system. But the Indian government, I think in the last probably 10 to 15 years, the attitude has changed quite a bit. You know, early days you had to get some 36 approvals to set up a company and all that. But nowadays most governments have got a single window clearance system. They call it a single window where you apply in one place and then you can start your business. And recently the Kerala industry minister was there in Chennai seeking investments from Chennai, Tamil Nadu. And he was also mentioning that many industries you can start even without a license. I heard that within 6 months, if you can get a license, it is good. So I think the government is becoming more and more friendly, industry friendly, because they've realized that without industries there is no employment, and without employment there is no growth in people's income. So the governments have changed. After this, I'm going for another event in Madhya Pradesh. There is a investment summit, and we have a subsidiary there. And in fact, they have allocated us some land, and it was very transparent. We just met them and said, we are expanding, we need land, and we got about 8 acres of land at a very reasonable price. So governments in India definitely are very enthusiastic about investments, and every state is going to other states, not only going abroad for investments, they are going between states and trying to get investment into different states. So I think there is a huge change. Australia and all the system is very automated, so I think it's much more easier. We have a long way to get there to the Australian level of doing business. Ease of doing business, I think, is very high. But India will take time, but I'm sure we will get there for sure. Thank you.
I'll just add one sentence to that, in that registering a business is very easy. In Australia, you go online and you do it. You get your ABN registration pretty instantaneously. but depends what industry you're in and how it's regulated. And then there's obviously a difference between people that are just servicing the Australian market versus wanting to be export ready and looking at the international market as well. So we will move on. I mean, I'm happy for you to talk to the Australian businesses that are here afterwards, but I think there's a gentleman here who wanted to ask a question, so I'll give him that opportunity.
Okay. My name is Achudan. I represent a 39-year-old electronic company. I know Australia has done a lot of work in microgrid. Microgrid is something like 100 watts pumping the energy into the grid. Grid is 400 volts. So I would like to have a JVC with some small scale industry in Australia. How do we go about? How do we interact? Okay, I returned to a few persons, but I didn't get any reply.
Okay, I think it is Austrade, so following this, we have a pavilion. Actually, I should mention, we have an Australian pavilion here. It's in that corridor. If you come down and we'll register your details, we'll get someone to respond to you. Thank you.
Yeah, good afternoon, officials. I'm Bijosh Paul. So, based on 5 to 6 years of R&D, we are operating on healthcare and lifestyle management solutions. So actually the outcome seems to be the prevention and the maintenance of the lifestyle diseases, including the obesity. So I contrast Australia. So we have already seen that you initiated the awareness program in the school level over 15 years. So here in India, so we are considering so many aspects from dietetics and so many medical branches. So and creating a unique solution for the professionals and the school children and those who are having the particular LCD diseases. So actually, so there are possibilities, I think so, but how the way can we get into a collaboration level? Like we have physical solution and the online solution as well. Like we are giving the coaching program, and the outcome seems to be making the people self-sufficient to manage their lifestyle diseases. So not that we are not promoting, we are not offering any treatment, but we are giving the easiest solution to manage their lifestyle and to manage their health. So that is an innovative solution, and it is based on the 5 to 6 years of R&D, and still we are continuing. And in the last year, we have started the coaching programs, and we are also having an AI-based mobile application as well. So that is also come to be a semi-automated level. So we are also targeting the global people. So and definitely we have analyzed a lot of reference from Australian organizations. So anyway, so we are especially looking for the collaboration and the possibility and the funding solutions and the way. And anyway, I am congratulating the government of Australia. So they have already started around 15 to 20 years for the obesity exclusively, and you are getting their obesity level is getting reduced. So that is a great thing for the government and your initiative. And for India as well, we are a startup and we are into the same activity and giving to the many target audience. So anyway, we are looking for the collaboration and any possibility of funding or somewhat.
Thank you. So Australia has a government-funded health system. There is a private system too, but spending on public health has increased significantly. Some of the government campaigns are designed to reduce that spend on the public purse. It's a win-win situation. If you have less people being diagnosed with type 2 diabetes, it means they don't have to draw on the public health system more as they get older. So I think the main driver for these public health campaigns have been our health departments that have chosen to educate the Australian community. A lot of those campaigns are available online, so if you look at Department of Health or any of the state-based health departments, you can find information about those campaigns. In terms of technology collaboration and funding, I think these types of conferences that are specifically designed for health the health sector, that is where you would meet Australian investors or Australian companies wanting to invest in an Indian company in the health sector. So there's two ways of trying to connect with those people, either going to Australia and attending one of these health-based conferences so you can make connections in the health sector, or doing it online, trying to identify which companies match what you're trying to achieve and research it, completing that research online and contacting them. Thank you. I think that is time. Before we finish, we might just take a selfie from the stage just with the audience, because I think this is the first time we've done this in Kerala. And, I want to thank the Kerala government for setting up this conference, but also for all of you for coming to our session. Thank you. We do have a pavilion, so if you do want to continue the conversation, there will be people there. And there will be 2 MOUs being signed this afternoon as well, so thank you.